So, did anybody else find it to be crazy that it was voted on in the wee hours of the morning?
That's
Like a
diabolical.
thief in the night.
A big, beautiful bill has passed the House, but it's not so beautiful. It is not so beautiful. It adds even more money to the deficit, and it's trying to make these tax cuts that are set to expire from Trump from 2017 permanent.
So, did anybody else find it to be crazy that it was voted on in the wee hours of the morning?
That's
Like a
diabolical.
thief in the night.
Baby, that's what it was. That is absolutely diabolical when everybody's asleep and
Peaceful.
yeah,
We decide we're going to vote on something.
absolutely. And three people are paying attention. Just three. Just three people are paying attention. I mean, it goes to the Senate. The threshold for the Senate is a little higher for passage. And I believe there's senators who believe this needs some work. This needs some work. There are going to be estimated over 7 million people who get kicked off of Medicaid.
So, do you think they'll do any work though? 'Cause they've been working since I want to say Wednesday. Or was it Tuesday when they started and they had a 1 a.m. session? And they didn't call the vote, but then here we go. I know they were doing work before they voted, so I'm just wondering how much work will be done.
I mean, so I think they need some Democratic votes in order to pass it in the Senate. But from what I'm hearing, there are several Republican senators who are like, we got to make some changes. They want to mark it up and send it back into committee.
Okay.
So
Should we feel hopeful that anything will happen? I know. It's just one of those things that, like, here we go again.
it is. It is. They are just demolishing things a little bit at a time. And then I heard that a bunch of these cuts and things are going to happen. So like one part of this bill will take effect after the midterms. So there's no immediate impact. So it'll happen after the midterms.
And they can blame it on someone else because
Yeah.
they're going to lose their seats.
But then I think part of the tax bill, a huge portion of the tax bill that's going to raise taxes, won't go into effect until after the next election. So if we have a Democratic president, the Democratic president will get the blame because people have short memories and they will forget this
When it was passed.
was passed
And
during
by
Donald.
who?
Exactly.
So you can place the blame. And this is what these people do all the time is placing the blame. What is it? Throw a rock, hide your hand?
And that's what they're doing, and they're counting on it. But this is the kind of chess that gets played. And if Democrats want to win back anything, they got to start playing chess and not checkers. Because I think they're blinded by like all the things that are just happening, all the shiny pretty right here in front of them, all the chaos right in front of them. And Republicans are playing the long game.
So I have a question. Have you seen any outrage today about this bill passing? Do you think that potentially with outrage from constituents, it could lend to some changes once it gets to Senate?
I have not seen outrage from Democrats other than like a press conference and,
The normal.
yeah, the regular, degular, schmegular stuff. I think that people, until they're affected by this, no.
Okay.
No, I mean, there's some of us that are paying attention. We're like shouting it from the rooftops, mainly on social media and independent media. But until like it starts hitting people's pockets and until retailers, businesses start being loud about the effects that this is having, then no, people aren't going to pay attention. I mean, like Home Depot has said, we're going to hold our prices. They're not going to be increasing any prices right now because primarily they source most of their items, their materials from the United States. So
Right.
tariffs will have a minimal impact. But then there are other retailers who are trying to hold the line. But the issue will be if they're trying to hold the line and they're eating the tariffs,
It's going to reflect.
when their margins shrink and get slimmer, right? And then they have to answer to shareholders, but they're trying to balance not criticizing the Trump administration.
So what?
Because they don't want to
Make him mad.
that jackleg is retaliatory. He is retaliatory. So they don't want to risk his ire, but eventually,
Because of him.
yes, eventually How much longer are they going to hold the line before they really and truly have to say, it's the tariffs, we're passing these costs on because we can no longer eat them? Because when you have to answer to investors, your fiduciary responsibility when you are a CEO is essentially to make investors money.
You're not going to be making them money.
Nope.
And they don't want to be on the receiving end of the Walmart criticism that just came about from that jackleg that said Walmart wanted to increase their prices anyway. Did they?
No, they did. Walmart loves being called a low-cost leader.
It is low cost and low budget, but I digress with that.
But, they're afraid of being retaliated against because this president has a history of weaponizing his office, weaponizing the agencies that sit under his purview,
Mhm.
and penalizing, trying to punish people, investigate people, all these things because of some perceived wrong, like they're trying to buck against the system.
So this is what we call a bully.
Absolutely.
Children, do not be like this guy, okay? He is not a role model. He is a bully.
Absolutely. He's an absolute bully. Speaking of bullying and being retaliatory, Harvard. I just saw today that Harvard, their ability to sponsor foreign students for student visas has been revoked by the Department of Homeland Security. So not only can Harvard not recruit international students, their current international students who are at Harvard on a student visa are being advised that they have to transfer out of Harvard. They have to leave Harvard, or else their visa basically will become null and void and they will be deported. That means they have to leave the country.
Who can we thank for that?
That jackleg.
Jackleg.
Incredible. Incredible. You have a disagreement with somebody.
You are a bully.
And you are going to retaliate. This is how we
are a bully.
Retaliate. I mean, and the list goes on and on. Harvard's this is a very high profile thing because Harvard is knucking and bucking with the administration, which I love. And I'm interested to see, though, how they're going to handle this. Because a lot of foreign students come to Harvard to study, a lot of them. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to respond to this long term, like beyond like we're shocked, we're dismayed that the Trump administration would do. Yeah.
What is the action?
Yeah.
What is the action that you're going to take? And do you have a plan?
Yeah. And I'm sure they're consulting with lawyers and stuff. So I want to see what happens like next week. What are they doing?
I don't know. Do we need to know what they're doing? Sometimes it's better to fight in silence.
Baby, sometimes it is better to move in silence. But I think this administration is just super retaliatory.
Absolutely.
They're investigating James Comey based on a social media post.
No, that post was good. Let's talk about it. Like I saw it and I was like, ooh, I figured it out. And I said, ooh, 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 ooh.
Well, James Comey's always had a little petty in him.
Well, James Comey is the one that put this one in the office in 2016. So I will not forgive him for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now
that's the reason.
Karma's a bug, ain't it?
It's a bit.
Baby, that thing spun the block on him. While I don't think it's right for the Trump administration to retaliate.
I mean, it's just par for the course, right? It's what happens. You got us in this situation, and now what's going to take you out? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, but who is going to get taken out? We are in week 2
of the trial.
So he has a name. I've come up with one. Name alert! Mr. Pissy Time. Mr. Pissy. Or Mr. Pissy Time. I mean, it could be so many things. The details that we've heard about him are things that I really want to know. But the things that they found in his Miami home.
Absolutely disgusting. Yeah. This has been a mess. Just the sex lives of the rich and famous being exposed.
Drug lives, allegedly, with all these things. And I just have to ask this question. Did y'all know he used meth? Was anybody else surprised?
So I was a tad surprised at how much drug use.
Me too.
He's been involved in. And that makes me sad because I'm like sad just because, again, when people use what I like to call gateway drugs, it really does open the door and soften the landing to other things. And I personally think that's what happened. But part of me is like, well, who introduced you to this stuff, sir? Who introduced you? And who gave you the idea that you needed all this Astroglide, baby oil, freak offs, voyeurism? Like, who kind of opened the door?
So it's the costumes for me trying to disguise itself.
Well, no, it's being a movie director for me.
Absolutely, because he knows how to do everything. So I'm going to direct, I'm going to watch, I'm going to critique. I was just amazed. Like the drug use for me was like, wow. And when I heard that he took ecstasy like every day and he had some ecstasy pills in the shape of Barack
Who is
Obama.
out there doing that? Who is the manufacturer out there doing that?
Yes. And then they also said it was some Tesla pills.
I didn't hear that. I
Oh,
did not hear
yeah.
that.
Armand Wiggins, if you are not listening to the recap from Armand Wiggins, please do it. He paints a picture. That's my little plug there for Armand.
Wow.
But you get all the details. So that's when I heard about those things. But can we talk about Kid Cudi?
Bay. So I'm interested in trying to get the transcript of his testimony, but I've heard a couple of lawyers say his testimony, chef's kiss,
Mm-hmm.
Cassie's ex-friend, like number one in ranking of testimony, and
The one
Kid
with the
Cudi.
hanger?
Yes. And then Kid Cudi right behind, because they've both been like Carrie was like, yeah, we're not friends. And why are you here? Because I got subpoenaed.
Uh-huh.
That's why I'm here.
Because I really don't want to be here.
Exactly. And Kid
Because I
Cudi
got
kind of
smoked upside the head with a wooden hanger, okay? Because of you.
Kid Cudi kind of more of the same, like kind of why are you here? I got subpoenaed. He blew up my car.
Allegedly.
So you have to watch Kid Cudi walking into the courthouse. He is smoking like a Marlboro. He's
Is he?
got
I
a
didn't see that.
cigarette. He's walking in, and I was like, he is with the shit. He is about to go in here and show out. He is smoking a cigarette. He has zero fucks to give. It's just like on First 48. When you give somebody a cigarette, you know it's going down.
They said his testimony was absolutely great for the prosecution. It was very good.
Absolutely. Because what did we find out from the snippets that we know? Not only is Diddy a menace, he is a cat burglar. Allegedly.
But you're going to break into somebody's house, turn their security cameras so they have no footage of you, and open the man's Christmas gifts
Because you are
that
a
are under the
menace.
tree.
You are a menace.
Diddy the Menace.
Nobody has ever shown him some hands, have they? You can always tell when somebody has not seen hands.
Not. But this joker broke into the house and left the Christmas gifts open.
So you know that I rifled through them. Did he have his face covered up when he did it? Was he wearing one of those costumes? Those are questions that I want to know. Like, did he have on a costume? But we'll never know because there's no footage.
Exactly. And then for diabolical, they're diabolical. Then allegedly for Diddy's assistant, who was left sitting in the car, to call Kid Cudi and say, hey man,
Yeah.
Diddy's in your house right now. I'm outside your house. Diddy's in your house. Who does that?
Somebody that has not seen a set of hands.
And then a month later, allegedly, throw a Molotov cocktail in the man's car.
Well, he climbed on the top, cut the top, and dropped it in the car, allegedly. What kind of heathen is this? Like, who raised him?
Baby, that there's a story there. I need somebody to do like a true Hollywood story from the beginning on Diddy, to really talk about the beginning of kind of all of that, and his dad, the dad's alleged history, the mom's, Janice Combs' alleged history, because she looked like her history. She looked like her alleged history.
Baby, Janice is with it too. Allegedly, she was a part of Freak Offs as well.
Let's see it's only week 2.
I know.
We're
What's
at the
going to
end
come
of
out?
I know we're at the end of week 2, so I'm very interested to see what else comes out, because we have at least another 6 to 8 weeks left. We have another 6 to, because they said this is going to last about 8 to 10 weeks. So we have another 6 to 8 weeks left. So I'm interested to see.
So literally, like every day when I finish working, I try and see who is on YouTube, who has the recap that can go through. I want somebody that's been in the courtroom. Like, I need somebody there to read off their notes to paint the picture.
Because you
So
need
I
to know
can
all
sit
the
here and be
things.
like, And then I get my piece of paper out and I write down these notes because I need to go back and see. I want to know some of these names that are being thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. At this point, I feel like he's going to be convicted.
I think so. There are like, I think, three different kinds of charges. There's RICO.
Hmm.
There's, I think, there's some X trafficking,
Hmm.
and then I believe there's potentially like prostitution or
I
something.
mean, I could see that.
And it's appearing from kind of the pundits, legal pundits I'm listening to, it appears that the government, the way they're laying out their case, they're putting the pieces together for the X trafficking and the prostitution. Like they've kind of checked the boxes for those. The RICO, they said, is a higher threshold, and they are slowly but surely ticking off the boxes to prove those elements. Yeah, to prove the elements you need for RICO. I guess because someone said, a lawyer said, like the government, the way the government's laying out their case, they're laying it out according to the instructions that the jury's going to get.
Okay.
And so they're like, the jury's going to get instructions about, things by force, by coercion, those kinds of things. So it's all the elements. So that's how they're building their case.
Listen, he is a menace. He is a menace.
He's a terrible, terrible human being.
But did we suspect this? I guess that's the thing that's so shocking, like the usage of substances, right? I never would have guessed that much.
No, but sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or X,
Hmm.
drugs, and rock and roll. So I guess X, drugs, and hip hop. And again, I really want to know, and I don't know if this is going to come out in the midst of all this, like, what else was involved in this? Like, what was the gateway for him to kind of slide into this
Realm of
lifestyle?
like
Yeah.
darkness. I wonder, is he going to tell? I still have a feeling that he may tell on other people when he's going down.
People say there are lots of powerful people like that are kind of caught up in this.
Who's supporting him? We haven't heard anybody.
That, but also, they said he had cameras in every room in that house, which meant that anything that was happening in the house.
So I wonder, was it happening in the house? What I'm seeing, a lot of things happen at the Trump Hotel in New York. How ironic.
Yeah,
Diabolical acts at the Trump Hotel.
they
It's
said
been called out.
that was his preferred hotel. Can you believe that?
No. Yeah, I
What?
mean, you know what? Yes. Yes, I can. Don't we have another menace? I mean, come on. So, yes. So, if you're at hotels, though, you can't control that environment. Are you bringing, like, you and your friends doing stuff at hotels? Will there be footage?
Well, apparently yes, because remember these things were filmed, but then there've been employees who've been corroborating all the things. Like I had to go clean it up. What the?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
paying me to clean up your nasty time?
Pissy time, Mr. Pissy.
You are paying me to do that.
Yeah. That's a part of my daily job activities and go get me some substances so I can function.
That it's diabolical. It's crazy. He was a horrible human.
Say was, he's still living. So he gets to deal with these acts that he's done. I believe he will have to pay for them one way or another. What I did wonder, what was his withdrawal like? If he was on this much, what was his withdrawal like when he went to jail?
Would have assumed maybe they had to give him something to kind of take that down a bit because sometimes when you're doing that, if he was doing as many drugs and stuff as they said he was, withdrawal can send you into like cardiac arrest and
And he's
whatnot because
still
of what
here.
your body is used to. So I'm wondering if they gave him something to kind of take the edge off and bring him down over time. Because,
It's a mess, but I'm going to keep watching. It's not big of enough mess for me to say I'm not watching and I'm
well,
not
I'm
going to tune in.
invested. I'm
I am
invested.
too.
I'm totally invested.
And I
So
hope everybody listening is invested as well. I'd love to know what everybody's like moment was.
mine was just being in the group chat. This is more than I ever wanted to know about anybody's sex life.
Yeah, despicable. It is despicable with his little not need self. Oh, and did you hear about the copious amounts of hair dye just for men?
No, I didn't.
It was like a big box of it. I thought that was funny.
Well, the drawings show that he's very, very gray now. He's extremely gray
Doesn't have the just for men.
because he doesn't have all his, the accoutrements of his lifestyle.
Well,
It could.
which is life. When you're a criminal, you get to look like Grady from Sanford and Son. So we love that for him.
Yeah,
All
we do.
right.
All right,
This
folks.
wraps up today's episode. I'm sure next week will be full of fun.
What is going to happen over the holiday weekend? Because let's be clear, with the Mango, Mussolini, Jackleg occupying the highest office in the land, I'm sure there's something's going to happen, even though it's a holiday weekend.
Doesn't matter. Evil doesn't rest.
It does not and doesn't.
So we'll be back next week to talk about all the things.
All the things, folks. Meet us here. And last but not least, don't forget to
At us later.
add us later, baby. Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of At Me Later. We drop new bite-sized episodes packed with news and sass every Tuesday and Friday. So make sure you're following us wherever you get your podcasts. And because we love validation, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, and drop a comment to let us know what you think. It helps us more than you know. At Me Later is an A Collective production, and we'll be back in your ears soon. But until then, stay loud, stay opinionated, and as always, at us later.
You can hear us?
I don't think she can hear us.
I don't think she can hear us either. Well, she's got.
Headphones in the right place.
You're muted.
Yep. What are we talking about? All right. What are we talking about?
Thrilled. You're not the fourth host of the A Collective.
Well, hell, he might as well be. Okay. So what we
He'd
doing?
be our DEI hire.
And the black dog is so like,
She's perfect. She's a queen.
she's on brand. And this one was like, look at me, look at me. Shannon, look at Shannon.
Okay. What's the last idea?
Get ready, season 2.
It's loading.
And guys, we're going to be professional and have outlines and be prepared. We won't just wing it, okay?
That's funny.
That's extremely hilarious.
Season 2 of The A Collective begins May 29th. Get excited.
I'm gonna get the name right. Season